All right, so there's a new image up here in the slider for top stories, and that is 332 pixels wide. Didn't have to do any resizing before bringing this image in. The Insanity plugin handles the resizing for us. But then we scroll down here and we see in this more news area these square images. Now square is obviously, well, it's kind of an annoying format to work with to begin with. So my plan is that we'll work with 4x3 rectangles in this area that are 160 pixels wide. Right now these are 150 by 150. So obviously squares, and we're just going to get rid of that. This was the default for this theme, and we're just going to use 160 wide rectangles. And if you look at JS Online, I think they use roughly that size for sort of a slider feature they have on their homepage. So there are other sites that do this, and we don't have to worry about cropping an image and making it into a square, which is kind of a hassle. Anyway, it's more of a hassle than resizing a rectangle. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go down, I'm going to change the featured image for the social media ego machine story. So I'll flip back to the back end of the new site, and I go over to posts, and I just go over here and I'm searching for ego machine. I'll bring up that story, and let's see. So here's the story pick. That's fine. But what I need to do is go down here, and I'm going to add a featured image for that story. So I'm just going to click Set Featured Image, and just like what I did in the last movie, I'm just going to hit Upload Files right here. And then I find that picture, and I click and drag it right in there. And now you'll see, well, okay, it's 332 pixels wide. But that is actually fine. It is optimized. It's better than what it was before, being 480 pixels wide or whatever this particular image was. So it's shrunk it down a little bit, which is good for web stuff. You don't want to choke the bandwidth with super large images, so it did shrink it down somewhat. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit Set Featured Image here. And obviously this one's a rectangle. It's a 4x3, not a square. But I did something else in another area with some other code, so that when we do drop this in here and then hit update, it's already set to go to the more news area and regular news. And I'm going to flip back to the home page of the site and go down here, and there's the image for the more news area for this story. So you can see it's 160 wide. Again, I'm not dealing with the height of the images. I actually set the height for all these images to 0. So whatever the height of the image is, it'll work, and it won't distort, because that's basically what we have going on the old site. It's saying, well, I've got to be this width and this height. If you get rid of the height of the image, it'll just bring it in to conform to whatever the width is. So that works, and you don't have to worry about this sort of stretching and weird stuff that happens with the current site. So anyway, I'm going to scroll down here. So here's this 160 wide rectangle image that goes along with this story. Again, I don't have to worry about resizing or cropping this image before bringing it in here. And it will look better when these are rectangles as well. But yet again, we're not worrying about having to resize or crop images before bringing them into the new site, because it's all done with that Insanity plugin.